Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. And today we are finally going to be getting to the video I've been talking about for a while now. It's going to be the 10 things I love about my C4 Corvette. So, as many of you know, in one of my previous videos that I had posted about the C4 Corvette, I did the 10 things that I hate about the C4 Corvette. I was a little worried about posting that because I know a lot of people are very passionate about their Corvettes, and saying anything negative about a Corvette might trigger some people, but I figured come out of the gate with the bad stuff first, and then we end with the good stuff. I think that a lot of people that have commented, most of them were pretty supportive and agreed. You know, a lot of the things that I posted, pretty much everybody knows that are drawbacks to the C4 Corvette. I did that as kind of like a countdown style. It wasn't exactly in order of, you know, things I, you know, just like least to most, things like that. It was just kind of, you know, a proper flow to the video, and I'm going to do the same thing in this one. So without further ado, 10 things in no particular order that I love about my C4 Corvette. So the first thing, of course, that I love about my Corvette, it's fitting that I'm driving it because it is one of the things that kind of makes it hard to do videos when I'm driving, is of course my exhaust sound. Now, of course, my exhaust system is stock, but the one thing that I do have on it is the muffler deletes. And the resonator is still there, no headers, none of that type of thing, but I gotta be honest with you, the way it is right now, I love it. It's fairly quiet at idle, it's not too loud, and yeah, it's, as far as I'm concerned, it's perfect. I mean, a lot of people would say that it's a little bit too tame, it's not loud enough, that type of stuff. I mean, I want to be able to come home at night when it's late. I want to be able to pull into my driveway, pull in my garage, and I don't want to have to wake my neighbors, bother people, and things like that. So to me, my exhaust sounds great just the way it is. Muffler deletes, resonator only, no complaints from me. It's perfect. All right, now that I've got a chance to pull over, shut the engine down, and make it a little more tolerable for the acoustics in here, the next thing that I love about my C4 Corvette is the Bose stereo system. And by that, I mean it's a 20-year-old stereo system, but it sounds fantastic. Of course, there's really no way to demonstrate that, you know, using a camera and have it translate through, but I love it. It sounds great, just the right amount of bass. It's not perfect, but I have to say for what it is, it sounds great. I mean, Bose is great sounding in pretty much everything that they do, and to be perfectly honest with you, having both the CD and the tape deck is awesome. Now, I know some of you out there probably think having a tape deck is more or less useless and ridiculous, but it's not. And the reason being is because I have one of the cassette tape adapters, and what I'm able to do is actually run the audio from my cell phone into the stereo itself. So I'm going to give you a real quick little demonstration here of the stereo and exactly what I was talking about. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to bring up some music that is copyright friendly. Our good old friend here. Try out Halloween Funk. Alright, so now that we got the music playing here, as you can see, we have the CD and the tape deck. Get the tape deck in here. And now what I have here is a little Bluetooth dongle here. I'm going to turn that on. And there it is. So it's probably hard to hear me over the music right now, but it sounds fantastic. Just enough bass. I love it. And it's very easy to use. So I'm probably one of the few people that actually likes having a cassette tape in the radio of his car. I mean, it goes with the times. It's a 95. It's a Bose system. It's fantastic. It sounds awesome. I can play music off my phone through it with minimal hassle. And you know what? I love it. So I love my Bose stereo system in my C4 Corvette. Now the next thing that I love about my C4 Corvette is the detailed gauge cluster. Now I'm going to have to fire the car back up to show you a couple things here, but bear with the sound. So now what I do love is that on the display there, of course, you get to see the miles per gallon average, which 19.2 miles per gallon so far isn't too bad. Now we can go through, if you come over here, we have the fuel info, gauges, trip, and odometer. So what that does, of course, is with the fuel information, I can go through my range, nothing. My instant miles per gallon, because I'm sitting still, of course, is 0, and back to my average. Now then, if you hit the gauges button here, it will go through and show you your coolant temperature, your voltage, the transmission temperature, the oil temperature, and of course back to the coolant. And of course the English and metric, I guess, is what that stands for. Going from miles per gallon and liters per kilometer. So I actually have 197,000 kilometers on the car and 122,000 miles on the car. I never actually hit that button before, but that's actually pretty cool to be able to go between those. So the to switch over to metric and see that I have almost 200,000 kilometers on the car. And of course, right here you have the resets. This is the display cluster for any of the warning lights. Not to mention just the the gauges and everything that you get on the instrument cluster. I also do love the fact that you have a total control digital HVAC system. So overall, for a 1995, to have all that information on there for a 22-year-old car is awesome. It just feels like a higher end car, having that ability and that information available basically at your fingertips. So yeah, I love the convenience technology on this for the gauge cluster, the HVAC, and everything else. I think for a 22-year-old car, it's amazing. Alright, the next thing that I like about my C4 Corvette is the rear view visibility. And no, I'm not talking about out of the mirror. What I am talking about is when you're driving and you need to look over your shoulder and see what's behind you. So I'm not talking about that way because I have a mirror and a window. What I'm talking about is turning your head this way, and I will be perfectly honest with you, this car has probably some of the best visibility turning over your shoulder and looking out the back of the car as any car I've ever had in my life. Having that big bubble of glass back there with nothing obstructing your view or anything, you don't have to worry about anything in your blind spot, because there is absolutely no blind spot in this car. So yeah, I love the rear view visibility on my C4 Corvette. So since I'm on the topic of the rear view and looking out the hatch of the car, the next thing that I love about my C4 Corvette is, of course, the hatchback itself. I've always been a fan of hatchbacks, but this one is special. Now when I come over here and I latch it, or unlatch it, it opens up like that, and you get a ton of storage back here. Basically, being a high-end sports car for its time, I mean, this is a lot of storage space. Of course, this is my camera slider. I wasn't sure if I was going to use that. Just the way that the glass is basically the entire hatchback, and then you actually have usable storage space in here. I think it's awesome. I mean, first car I ever had was a hatchback. Second car I ever had was a hatchback. Pretty much the favorite cars that I've always had have always been hatchbacks. And my personal opinion is that the C4 Corvette gets a definite thumbs up when it comes to having the hatchback and the storage. Now the next thing that I love about my C4 Corvette is something that pretty much everybody that has one is definitely going to agree with. That is, of course, having the Targa top. The removable roof panel makes this something of a, a kind of a unique thing. Not a lot of cars have those. I know it's more common with sports cars, but having this removable Targa top, and also the fact that it conveniently gets stored in the back here using those mounts right there, and then of course getting locked in there. So what I'm going to do real quick is give you a demonstration of how the Targa top actually gets stored in the back. Of course, the first thing you got to do is, as you guys know from my 10 things I dislike video, the first thing you got to do is unbolt all of the bolts that hold in the Targa top. So once the bolts are out, all you do is you lift it up, grab it nicely, and there you have it. All right, so I got the Targa top right here, and what you do is you bring it in, you put one side in that little bracket there, you put the other side inside of that bracket there, and what that does is allows you to actually lift the top up and down and access the cargo underneath, obviously. But what you do then is you lock it down and you push this little tab in. Now it's locked in. I love the Targa top, and I love the fact that they plan for you to take the thing off and actually store it in the car when you go somewhere. That is absolutely awesome. Unfortunately, it's about 45 degrees out right now. Top's not staying out. That time of year, unfortunately has come and gone. So while we're here at the back of the car, that is going to lead me to the next thing that I love about my C4 Corvette, and that is the fuel filler. Now, as you all know, modern cars, they don't do that anymore. They haven't made cars like this for a long time. I mean, for the longest time, you actually had the gas cap would be behind the license plate. Having this up here, I love it. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to actually get gas, in there. I mean, some of the nozzles that we have nowadays with the vapor collection and all that stuff, it kind of sits and rubs on the back bumper here a little bit. But for a 22-year-old car and a Corvette nonetheless, I mean, this is just another standout, unique thing that these cars have, and definitely goes under the category of I love it. So I love the gas cap location on my C4 Corvette. So the next thing that I love about my C4 Corvette is probably one of the most unique things about this car. And yes, if you haven't figured it out, it's the forward flipping hood. Now granted, it's not unique to Corvettes. A lot of sports cars have been made this way. Just the fact that it completely opens with the fenders included, and you get this wide open, I mean, you can see the wheels, you can see all the struts and the shocks, which all that needs to get cleaned up. I mean, there are not a lot of hoods out there that give you that much access to the mechanicals of the car. I can climb into this car in the engine bay. I mean, that is so unique, and I'm not exactly the most mechanically inclined person, so I'm not one that's going to be taking an engine apart and reassembling or anything like that, but just to have access to everything. I mean, you can get down in, by the spark plugs, you can get down to the exhaust, alternators right here, air filters up in front, I mean, coolant lines, vacuum, the headlights themselves, all this. You got your blower, your coolant, you got, I mean, there's literally just so much access to the engine bay on this car. It's almost ridiculous, to be honest with you, but I know some people may not like it, but I think that when you can take the hood up like that and see the whole mechanical aspect of the car, I don't know, I love it. I think it's fantastic. So yeah, I love the forward flipping hood on my C4 Corvette, as anybody that has a Corvette should. Now the next thing I love about my C4 Corvette is the headlights, or during the day, the lack thereof. Of course, flip-up headlights for most of its life, up until the 2000s, having the flip-up headlights was synonymous with the C4 Corvette, or was synonymous with the Corvette in general. And what is very unique about the C4 Corvette is not that it's got flip-up headlights, but it's how the headlights flip up. So as I said before, the Corvette, it's got to be special, right? Can't just have the headlights flip up. It's got to make it more elaborate and more fun than that, right? The fact that they completely flip by rolling over. It's a Corvette. So, as I said, the C4 Corvette, it couldn't just have normal headlights that flip up and go down. They have to make everything nice and elaborate and give you that double flip, and have the headlight, kind of like roll back and come up, roll down and go back down. I know the flip up headlights thing is something that kind of died out a long time ago. I know a lot of people don't like them, and I know actually having the flip up headlights is actually one of the things in my 10 things I dislike or hate about the C4 Corvette was the fact that you have those terrible square headlights, and that's kind of the only thing you can do and maintain the flip up style of headlights, because you have to have a enclosed housing and everything like that. So the headlights are definitely a pro and a con when it comes to the C4 Corvette, but of course the flip up part of the headlights I love about my C4 Corvette. So as you can see, the sun's starting to get real low, and it's time for the last thing that I love about my C4 Corvette. And it's the easiest thing to love about a C4 Corvette. It's the fact that it's a Corvette. I mean, it's a Corvette. I know that in the 10 things I hate video, a lot of the stuff that I had pointed out was kind of nitpicky. It was era specific, of course, being made in the 80s and things like that. There were a lot of things that, just were not fantastic about the C4 Corvette. And in this video, with the things that I love about the C4 Corvette, it's basically the same type of stuff, but it's just the more unique things in that. But ultimately, at the end of the day, there's only one thing you need to love about a C4 Corvette, and that is, of course, like I said, it's a Corvette, and I love it. There probably were 100 other things I could have said that I love about my C4 Corvette, but when it comes right down to it, I mean, the horsepower is awesome. It's a great drive. It's a fun drive. It's a unique drive. Everything about it I do love. Even the things that I hate them because I love them. So as I'm saying, you know, look, just look at the thing. It looks awesome from every angle. High, above, down low, and everything in between. 1995 Chevrolet Corvette, 122,000 miles. How many other cars out there are you going to love like a C4 Corvette? I've been given a lot of flack for some of the things that I said that I hated about it. I've been given flack for other things, but I'm just going to tell you right now, I love the C4 Corvette. That is my #1 answer here. Quirks and all, things that suck about it and all, this is a unique car. This is a fun car, and this is a car you can't go wrong with. The C4 Corvette is a Corvette, and that is why that is the one thing that I love the most about my C4 Corvette. All right, everyone. Well, it's getting really chilly out here. Winter is totally on its way. We haven't had any snow yet or anything like that, but yeah, I definitely wanted to get this one. I mean, I've had this car now since I think it was like the last week of June, give or take. And, you know, having the car for basically 5 to 6 months now. I don't drive it all that often. I usually take it out on, you know, days just for fun and things like that. But I really do love this car. I mean, it's just so fun to drive. It's not the most practical vehicle, and I'm not going to try and pretend that it is. And of course, it has its faults and its flaws. And anybody out there that is not able to recognize that or admit that, hey, you're just fooling yourself. But in the end of the day, it's a Corvette. I love the thing, and you can't go wrong with it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Maybe you enjoyed it more than the 10 things I hate about the C4 Corvette, but I thank you for watching my 10 things I love about the C4 Corvette. Of course, if you like my channel, subscribe. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, comment below if you have your own opinions on anything I have here to say. And that's about it for this one, so we'll see you in the next video. And of course, thanks for watching, and have a great day.